This right here, one of the dopest sneaker designs I have ever seen. Top 5 easily. An eye-popping extravaganza that boldly took the Jordan 1 to where it's never gone before or since. The man behind the making of this iconic remix of a classic sneaker gone way too soon. And the more I dug into this interviews of this man, the more I noticed the thought process, views, beliefs he had about changing status quos mimicked my own. Purists, haters, stalkers, and retail-worshipping succubi, however, have made attempts to sully this man's most controversial statements in order to keep the culture asleep. When you yourself is a sheep, constantly chasing the validations of other men, because you chose to spend excessive amounts of money or time to acquire a shoe, you learn a thing or two about tweaking facts in subtle but effective ways to justify your obvious shortcomings as a man. And when I put the mirror up to these people's faces and force them to look upon the fallacies of their behavior, they attempt to sully my words and content as well.
I know you have to pay your employees, but you talked a lot about democratizing design, and I wonder how you would feel about like counterfeits, and I guess like, I don't know, if you just like threw the cat up for your furniture online, does it have to be made by you to be Off-White?
Nah, exactly. That's what Off-White is different. Like, I love counterfeits. It's the best feedback. It's better than like a great review on Vogue. Like if it's working to the point where someone else can profit off that, that means it's really working.
Racist?
Yeah, real quick. I just want to say that particular part was used in propaganda by Troll, because he only played that part where Virgil said that he loved counterfeits. He didn't play that part right there. Like,
Let's go back. God dang it. Off-White is suing fake online sellers.
Propaganda? Really? Okay, so the voices you heard in that clip belong to none other than fatcatgreedy, who's in the running to become the ShoeTube community's most flagrantly cowardice ass pussy of all time. And the other dude over there making moaning noises is the biggest stalker fan, aka Stan, alter ego, who frequently has his disgusting, dirty, bodega-dwelling cocksucked by Greedy on the regular.
Troll used the Off-White Virgil spiel saying that he doesn't care and he likes it, but he didn't show the after effects of something like this, which was published after.
Right.
1 second later.
Okay, just to give you a little subtext of what's going on here. These two clowns, drenched in insecurity, are masters of spinning narratives just enough to fool other weak-minded sheep and retail purists into having a problem with everything that I do and say. I posted this clip of Virgil many months ago on IG, and the clip that I used was straight from the Columbia University lecture that took place about a year ago prior to Vice's video.
It's the best feedback. It's better than like a great review on Vogue. Like if it's working to the point where someone else can profit off that, that means it's really working. You know, you're not taking anything away from me. You're actually just advertising more. But I love the open source. Like maybe, I'll put up the CADs of the furniture on Vogue. Like if it's working to the point where someone else can profit off that, that means it's really working.
But that was Virgil Abloh last year. And since then, he seems to have changed his mind. This year, his company launched a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against companies who were selling counterfeit merchandise.
In 2017, Off-White was beginning to really take off. And this clip took place while Virgil was on the rise. It was completely candid, and Virgil was 100% comfortable with saying whatever he feels. In fact, some would argue that this may have been the last time we would ever see Virgil Abloh able to speak freely on controversial topics, as the events that took place afterwards clearly show a level of corporate collusion based on corporate influence. Today, we are gonna put on our tinfoil hats and analyze why I believe Virgil was coerced into retracting his previous statements, and for nothing more than the sake of corporate optics, was forced to sue counterfeit sellers in a lawsuit that in the end accomplished nothing. All the while taking a look at the newest UA that comes from a new seller on this show who goes by the name of Kix Penny. Let's see what the hell she's working with.
Hello, my name's Troll. I get UA shoes from a bunch of plugs. Let me introduce you. And if you resisted and took a L on your whole wish list, I'ma help your spirits get lifted. This is my new show called Gifted. Yeah. Fuck a reseller though, we ain't playing no more. And they already know fatcatgreedy is a bitch too. Fatcatgreedy is a bitch. He's a bitch, yeah. Fatcatgreedy is a bitch. He's a bitch, yeah. With a tampon stuck inside his dick. Fatcatgreedy is a bitch too.
So I guess because Off-White launched a lawsuit against UAs a year after his original statements, that what? We're just supposed to believe he didn't mean what he originally said? Trust me, he did. Virgil, at his essence and his core, was a true creative and a visionary. The absolute last thing he was worried about was having money taken away from him by counterfeits. At least, that's my opinion. Years ago, Kanye said it best. Go ahead and bite my style. I'll just create something new. And I feel like Virgil shared that same sentiment. He was handcuffed and had to sell just a little piece of himself in order to advance in corporate America. And to support my theory, let's take a deeper look at exactly what the fuck was going on. Off-White was founded in 2013, and Virgil opened his first fashion house with financial backing from a company called New Guards Group. Virgil's status was rising for like 4 straight years. He was reaching the fucking stratosphere. And during 2017, while he was working with Nike to create what's known as the 10, one of the most coveted projects in Nike history, 2 very, very important things were happening. An e-commerce platform called JD.com, formerly known as 360buy.com, made its largest investment of all time into a luxury fashion company called Farfetch. $367 million worth. Whew! Goddamn! Fatcatgreedy, you a bitch. This purchase right here set the stage for many strange things yet to come, because at the time, JD.com was one of the biggest business-to-consumer e-commerce platforms, with competition from the likes of eBay.com, Poshmark, Alibaba, and Amazon. However, a brand new app was also on the rise in 2017, a small little person-to-person selling platform known as no other than Wish.com. Its numbers were moving so fast that by the time 2018 rolled in, Wish.com became the most downloaded e-commerce app in the fucking world. Stay with me, it's all gonna connect soon, and all of you will soon understand why the shallow-minded ideas of an insecure beta male, simp, bitch, pussy, fuckboy like Fat Cat, Labia Lips, Bitch Greedy are embarrassing as hell. You call yourself a man? Fat Cat, I've seen more masculinity in pubic hairs plucked straight from a fucking stripper's asshole. So one online selling platform buys a pretty large stake in Farfetch, and a potential threat to their growth is on the rise at the exact same time. All the while, Virgil Abloh is literally spitting in the faces of sneaker snob and purist bitches by saying that it's okay to cop a UA. I know, you're wondering why. Why, troll? Why the fuck? In March 2018, seemingly out of nowhere, would Virgil choose to sue companies for selling counterfeits? What changed his mind? The Columbia University lecture was as unscripted and unfiltered as Virgil would ever be before or since. In 2017, he was unchained and free to say whatever he wanted, do whatever he wanted, for the most part. What exactly happened? Because Virgil was clearly being sincere in these statements. He was clear about how we aren't taking anything from him. He was clear about the fact that we are just advertising, and we continue to do so with a shoe like this. The Off-White Jordan 2. This was the final farewell, the last shoe Virgil would ever live to see get released. And while for me it doesn't take the crown from the Chicago collab, the concept, absolute brilliance. A fresh-made Jordan 2 that looks aged down to the midsole. Come on, bro, who the hell else is coming up with some shit like this? This is creativity at its finest. Now, I wasn't 100% sure if the way they did the illusion of the cracked midsole was gonna be accurate or not, because I can see some visible paint strokes on this UA pair. But check out this image they've got on the most trusted sneaker reselling website. The paint strokes on here look goddamn close enough for me, Fat Cat. Am I just blind, or are your worthless, irrelevant ass sneaker connoisseur abilities seeing something on here that I'm not seeing that actually matters? Did I mention this dude, fatcatgreedy, is a fucking bitch, by the way? All that completely useless sneaker knowledge you have, Fat Cat, must go over great at the Sneakerhead Country Club, or maybe when playing the Sneakerhead edition of Trivia Pursuit, or maybe at the Shoeologist Museum, where you stare at abstract paintings of fucking New Balances and Asics while breathing in the fumes of redwood oak fresh grapes and dandelions, while drinking from your diamond-encrusted glass of Opus 1 Cabernet, you uppity motherfucker, you. So I'm assuming this shoe is so off that it's worth copping an alleged retail pair from StockX for over $1,000, especially when Virgil is saying that rocking a UA isn't taking anything away from him. Fuck you, fuck anyone who thinks like you, and fuck the dirty ass scumbags price gouging the shit out of this man's stuff after death. Nothing on this pair is off enough to bring me to pay that retarded ass price, especially since it's gonna end up on my goddamn foot. The Off-White Jordan 2 from Kix Penny. Don't reward these soul-sucking resellers out here for profiting off a man's death ever, because the colors are on point, build on point, concept on point, sole crack on point, it's undetectable on feet, and since it's the last shoe Virgil will ever have a chance to see get released, we all should have had a fair shot at copping a pair. And that is why this UA receives the grade of a 17.8 out of 10. Son of a bitch!
Work on the street, literally, like phone in hand. I feel like Off-White might be one of the truly first sort of like luxury brands that's been just built from social media.
Virgil embraced the digital age. He embraced word of mouth, and he even did embrace counterfeits. So why did he sue so many merchants of them? Okay, so remember Farfetched, who a year prior received a massive investment from e-commerce site JD.com? Well, 6 months after Virgil's lawsuit was filed, and smack in the middle of his collaboration with Nike on the 10, Farfetched used its newfound capital to purchase another kind of business. And that business was, drumroll please, Stadium Goods, who at the time was the biggest sneaker reselling conglomerate in the country. Things that make you go, Would I be off base to say that the batshit crazy markups on the entire 10 collection may have caught Farfetch's attention, and maybe they had their eye on Virgil since before buying Stadium Goods? You tell me, because I did leave out one key detail in this spider's web of collusion, and that detail is the fact that the company that Virgil was suing for selling counterfeits was in fact up-and-coming e-commerce platform Wish.com. Wish.com housed over 164 different merchants who were all allegedly selling counterfeit off-white merchandise. And in March 2018, the same month that Virgil initiated his lawsuit with Wish.com, ironically, was the same month that he made history, becoming the first African-American creative director for Louis Vuitton. I mean, Fat Cat, you ignorant cuckold. Am I wrong to suspect that Virgil's newfound corporate alliances may have had something to do with why he was forced to take action here and completely contradict his original stance on replicas? I mean, wake up and smell the sellout, Fat Cat. I think that it's common knowledge that when men seek to gain power and influence in order to have a platform to change the status quo, at times, you may have to shake hands with a few devils along the way. Farfetch had a partnership going with JD.com. They bought Stadium Goods, the reselling platform. Both of these companies have more than a few reasons to be worried about Wish.com. And then the plot thickens because in August 2019, a mere 3 months after the lawsuit was over, guess who goes and buys Newgards Group, the parent company of Off-White? You guessed it, Farfetch again. Coincidence? I think not. Before the major acquisition of a major company, usually talks are happening behind the scenes, sometimes months if not years in advance. Do you really think Virgil didn't see this coming? Do you feel that suing a competing brand of his future partners wasn't like killing two birds with one stone? In order to push his brand a little further, not only are you delivering a crushing blow to a future competing entity, but you're also getting in the good graces of the motherfuckers who are about to invest in your company. So when the second biggest bitch boy coward, fatcatgreedy, tries to act like Virgil changed his stance because he saw it in a Vice video, I beg to differ. Virgil's comments in 2017 were raw, unfiltered, and as genuine as we would ever see him again. This man was a visionary.
You're not taking anything away from me. You're actually just advertising more.
He understood the sociological impact that having your products copied actually had.
The best feedback. It's better than like a great review on Vote.
And when you peel back a few layers, you start to see why him making this kind of move was nothing more than a business move, not reflective of anything he said about how he truly believes at a time when he was untarnished by corporate America. See, someone like Virgil and myself believe something radical. We believe that the status quo is always able to be changed, evolved, improved.
Fostering community is a super important thing. You know, a lot of people individualize their trajectory, but as soon as you foster a community with the same trajectory, your success becomes real. This year has showed us that there's injustices that lurk in lots of different corners, but community effort does make change. The impossible is possible when unified and when sort of believing that it can occur.
For example, everyone tries to tell me that this crusade against resale that I'm on is impossible. They say it's never gonna stop and that it can't be hurt to the point of non-existence. I never believed that. In fact, I've said it many times, all it takes is for everybody to unify and boycott these reselling bitches. Virgil has stated similar sentiments.
In this first slide, if you asked a human walking down the street, can you lift a car? Almost before even thinking, they would say no. But as you can see by this image, like 10 people, 11 people can lift a car and save a life. And I think that that's how I metaphorically view optimism and view how you can change the physical world through a number of ways of sort of breaking your knee-jerk reaction.
For the purposes of my analogy, in this clip, the scalpers reselling bum con artists are that burning car. One person may not be able to overcome the obstacle, but many working together can. The status quo can be changed, but you have to decide what kind of sneakerhead are you? Are you in it for the toe or are you in it for the dough? Because every single time you pay resale for a shoe, you are the reason scammers keep sniffing around. You are the reason resellers keep stealing pairs via backdooring or networking. You are the reason bots keep getting upgrades time and time again. And you are the reason why a mother can't even find a fucking pair of Air Force Ones for their kid on Christmas without having to go on CockX. When Virgil was on the rise.
So first question is is a yes or no quick. Can you sign my shoes after this? Second question is,
if you want me to sign something, I gotta leave in 10 minutes, so I'll do it
right now. Okay, I'll walk. I gotta.
You gotta throw it. You have to throw it from there, and I have to catch it. If I don't catch it, all of these shoes. I'll take 5 shoes.
Hey, one of me. I'm gonna be a decent human being. I'm gonna be a decent human being and just leave mine right here.
Before the corporate alliances, before retail and resale was intertwined, before he had to do what he had to do to expand the brand, he was telling the truth. This man was the first African American to become creative director at Louis Vuitton. He's the first American in general, regardless of race, to be nominated for the LVHM prize. Also one of Time Magazine's top 100 most influential people in the world. And these retail purists who spent half their fucking life filling their heads with useless sneaker factoids, who hate on Jordans because they're what's popular in the urban space right now, who want to be heard, who want to antagonize, but are too pussy to show their face, waste countless hours of time hunting down shoes just so they can say, we put in work, only to realize that in the end, no one gives a fuck. These people are mad when I show a clip of Virgil saying,
like, I love counterfeits.
You people are the enemy of my cause. Scratch that. You are your own worst enemy because life is too goddamn short to be thinking that you are somehow more worthy of something so insignificant in the grand scheme of things. Fat cat. Lord have mercy. I could break you down in this video, but why deny the people the joy of you getting your own episode, pussy? We are gonna do a full breakdown of your character, and we are gonna go deep, so deep in that ass. And out of respect for the New Yorkers who deserve such respect, I'll go ahead and say, pause. Virgil believed he could change the status quo through fashion. He believed he could shatter racial lines between black and white. He believed he could blend streetwear with high fashion. As for me, I believe we can kill resale. Obviously, you'd have to care more about rocking shoes than flipping them to get behind this. But listen, those of you who avoid resale and go ahead and cop a UA like this one, don't ever let someone try to tell you you're lesser than. And don't let anyone make you feel like you have to hide what you're doing. Don't let anyone talk shit to you about this in any way, shape, or form. Because at the end of the day, you are superior. And they fucking know it. You lack boundaries. There are people who fall in line, who conform to the social norms because that's what they're told to do. And then there's us who just forge our own path. You don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks about you because you have more important things to do with your time and your money than to just hand it over to some punk ass, bitch ass reselling bum who has to create fake ass friendships with plugs just so they can put food on the table. Fuck them all with a spiked Louisville slugger. Because the same cocksuckers who were telling Virgil he was crazy to think that a black man could ever become a staple in high fashion are the same idiots telling me that I'm crazy for thinking I could help change something in this sneaker culture and take it back away from this perverted ass resale market. And before all of you haters go out calling people crazy for thinking they can change the status quo, I leave you with this quote from one of my idols, Steve Jobs. The people crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Rock what you cop. Cop everything you want. And as usual, there's no sheep allowed. To Virgil, with love, a legend, a visionary, a father, and an inspiration gone too soon. Peace.
I get UA shoes from a bunch of plugs. Let me introduce you. And if you resisted and took a L on your whole wish list, I'ma help your spirits get lifted. This is my new show called Gifted. Yeah. Fuck a reseller though, we ain't playing no more. And they already know. Fat cat greedy is a bitch too. Fat cat greedy is a bitch. He's a bitch, yeah. Fat cat greedy is a bitch. He's a bitch, with a tampon stuck inside his dick. Fat cat greedy is a bitch too. I can no longer support them while staying true to myself. Protecting dudes they ain't seen like they own child. The whole crowd trying to make it seem like it's worthwhile. So I'ma get to treating every witness as hostile. I hear them loading bullets in the clip from the stockpile. It's only entertainment, the excuses for every fucking decision. The cost to watch it is free but ain't worth the price of admission. So I'ma mind my business, can't focus on all these frauds. Cause like Zaya's favorite UA, I'm down to die for the cause, Testing 1 2 1 2. If you feel some type of way, I'm talking about you, about you. Hello, can you hear me? Okay.